The puzzles you are about to see are real and used with the permission of PennyDellPuzzles.com. All puzzles are presumed solvable until proven otherwise. Due to the extreme sense of satisfaction that comes from solving puzzles, viewer participation is advised. These are my case files, a gallery of challenges for the mind. My clues aren't found on the streets. They're right there on the page in black and white. The grids are my fingerprints, and the answers interlock across and down as intricately as a strand of DNA. If you're up to the challenge, you can put your powers of logic and reason to the test right along with me. My job is finding solutions. I'm the Puzzle Detective.
Did you know that the puzzle page is one of the most popular features in local daily newspapers? Have you ever looked at the magazine racks at your favorite bookstore or grocery store and noticed the often large sections dedicated to puzzle magazines? That's because so many people have discovered the joys of puzzle solving. Puzzles can be more than a diversion, entertaining, stimulating, and when you conquer a particularly challenging puzzle, incredibly satisfying. Also, when you consider the cost of nothing more than a magazine and a pencil, puzzling is a wonderful hobby that anyone can afford. Hello and welcome to the Puzzle Detective, where together on each show we reveal a new puzzle, analyze it, and sift through the clues that lead to the solution. I did say we because every puzzle featured on the show is available in PDF format, free to download at thepuzzledetective.com. What is today's puzzle? We'll go to the puzzle board and find out right after this.
The Puzzle Detective phenomenon has just begun. Every week, a new and challenging puzzle that you get to solve right along with the Puzzle Detective. Be sure to check out the Puzzle Detective website. There you can learn more about the show, leave your comments and suggestions, and download the free puzzle PDF files for this and upcoming shows. Are you a Roanoke area business that would like to support this locally produced program while reaching a smart and loyal audience? Advertising rates for the Puzzle Detective are affordable, with a package to fit your business's needs and budget. Inquire on the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com. Stay tuned. The Puzzle Detective continues in just a moment. The Puzzle Detective is on Facebook. Like us at facebook.com/The Puzzle Detective. Are you a student or educator and would like the Puzzle Detective to come to your school? Or are you a corporate workshop planner looking for a new idea for a team building activity? If so, the Puzzle Detective would love to hear from you. Drop a comment at the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com. There's a reason the Puzzle Detective uses puzzles exclusively from PennyDellPuzzles.com. Simply put, they're the finest puzzles with the widest variety. Visit our friends at PennyDellPuzzles.com and be sure to tell them you heard about it on the Puzzle Detective. And now, back to the show.
The puzzle we're going to work on today is called Place Your Number. It's kind of an interesting looking grid. Let's take a quick look at it and read through the instructions on what we're going to try to accomplish with today's puzzle. The large square below is divided into 4 smaller squares, A, B, C, and D. And each one of the smaller squares is divided into 4 sections, north, east, south, and west. We're going to use the clues to number the sections. Each section will contain a different number from 1 through 16. Once again, we're using different numbers. None of the numbers 1 through 16 will repeat. So obviously we've got 4 squares, each divided into 4 sections, and 4 times 4, of course, is 16. One of the interesting things about Place Your Number is that there's just a very few number of clues. There's only 6 clues. Let's read through them real quickly. Clue number 1. We're going to read through all the clues before we try to start solving anything, and that's always a helpful place to go rather than getting down to clue 6 and realizing that you should have gotten there before you did clue 1. Clue 1. Within each square, the north number is 3 times the south number. Clue number 2. The total of all of the numbers in square A is 45. That means all of those 4 numbers are going to add up to 45. Clue number 3, the total all of the numbers in square B is 19. Clue number 4, the numbers in square C are even. Clue 5, D south is the square root, hold on, let's put a line through square root there for a moment, of C west, which is double B east. And clue 6, the east numbers are consecutive. Why did I cross out square root? Because I just didn't want people to freak out too fast. Square root is one of those math concepts that can send people running for the door. Trust me, it's not going to be that tough, and we'll deal with that clue when we get to it. After analyzing all of these clues, where is a good place to start? Well, the first thing that we want to do is take a look at clue 1 again. Within each square, the north number is 3 times the south number. As we've done on some other puzzles, what are the possibilities, what are the combinations that we can use for north and south where one number is going to be 3 times the other number? The north number is going to be 3 times the south number. So, for example, if south is 1, north would have to be 3. If south is 2, north would have to be 6. If south is 3, north would have to be 9, 4, and 12, 5, and 15. 6 would certainly work, but if we were to put 6 here, 3 times 6 is 18. We're only using the numbers 1 through 16. So these are really the only 5 combinations that we can use to make north and south. Let's take another look at clue number 4. All of the numbers in square C are even. Let's take a look at the combinations now that we just wrote down. If both of the numbers in C, north and south, have to be even, it's going to greatly limit the numbers that we can use for the north and south in section C. Section C. Can we use the combination 1 and 3? No, we can't. Those are both odd numbers. That's out. Well, 2 and 6 are certainly a possibility. 3 and 9 would not be. 4, 12 is a possibility. And 5 and 15, those are out. So we know that the numbers for north and south, where north is 3 times the south number, this is going to have to be either 6 or 12, and the bottom number is going to have to be either 2 or 4. Those are the only possibilities that we can go with for section C. Now we also have another clue that's very important. Let's return to clue number 2. The total numbers in square A are 45. Did you know that if you add up all of the numbers, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, all the way to 16, they add up to 136. That's just a piece of trivia. Knowing that A has to add up to 45, let's go back to these clues again and see what we can deduce for section A. What are the 2 largest numbers available to us? 15 and 16. What is 15 plus 16? 15 plus 16 is 31. If we know that the largest combination we can possibly have is 31, and if we were to use this first combination, which only adds up to 4, 35. 31 and 4 is 35. Well, that combination cannot work in square A because it doesn't get us to the 45 that we need. So let's talk about section A. That's out. What about 6 and 2? 6 and 2 still is only going to get us to 39. That's going to be out up there also. What about the third combination? 3 and 9 would add up to 12. 43, we're getting much closer, but 43 is not 45. Even if we use the maximum numbers for east-west, 15, 16, and then we use the combination 3 and 9, north and south, that's still not going to get us to 45. That's out. Which means 4 and 12, which adds up to 16, now puts us over that threshold of 45. 12 and 4, 5 and 15 are still possibilities. We can still use those as possible targets. And I'll put my little target diagram for what we need there. Let's move on and tackle clue number 5. And as you can see, I've got an inset that we're going to work on here to analyze clue number 5. Square root, very simply, is a number of a square when multiplied by itself that will give you that particular number. For example, if your square root is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, and half of 4, again, is 2. D south is the square root. So if we have a square root of 2, C west is that number, which is double east. So we need to figure out the combinations for square roots, squares, and the numbers. If we have a square root of 3, the number itself is 9. Half of that is 4.5. Now, we have one more possible combination, which is 4. If we multiply 4 times itself, it gives us 16. Half of 16 is 8. Let's take a look at that for a moment. We have a square root, a number, and half that number. This possibility is not usable. Why? Because we're repeating the numbers 2 and 2. That can be eliminated. Obviously here, in order to get half of our number, we have to use a fraction, 4.5. We're using no fraction numbers here, all whole numbers. Therefore, the only possibility for this combination in clue 5 is this one here. Let's take a look at that. D south is the square root. So if we go to D south and put in that square root, we can put in 4 here of C west. C west is the number that we're looking for. C west, 16, which is double B east. B east, half of that is 8. So we have now put in the square root 4 of C west, 16, which is double east. So if we divide that by 2, we get 8. We now have those 3 numbers. What does that mean? Well, because we have now placed the 4 here, previously in C south we determined that it had to be either 2 or 4. 4 has been used, leaving 2. And we said that C north is 3 times C south, leaves 6. Let's quickly cross off the numbers that we've used. We've used 2, 4, 6, 8, and 16. It seemed like a good place for us to take a break. We'll come back and continue more with Place Your Number when the Puzzle Detective continues right after this.
The Puzzle Detective phenomenon has just begun. Every week, a new and challenging puzzle that you get to solve right along with the Puzzle Detective. Be sure to check out the Puzzle Detective website. There you can learn more about the show, leave your comments and suggestions, and download the free puzzle PDF files for this and upcoming shows. Are you a Roanoke area business that would like to support this locally produced program while reaching a smart and loyal audience? Advertising rates for the Puzzle Detective are affordable, with a package to fit your business's needs and budget. Inquire on the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com. Stay tuned. The Puzzle Detective continues in just a moment. The Puzzle Detective is on Facebook. Like us at facebook.com/The Puzzle Detective. Are you a student or educator and would like the Puzzle Detective to come to your school? Or are you a corporate workshop planner looking for a new idea for a team building activity? If so, the Puzzle Detective would love to hear from you. Drop a comment at the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com. There's a reason the Puzzle Detective uses puzzles exclusively from PennyDellPuzzles.com. Simply put, they're the finest puzzles with the widest variety. Visit our friends at PennyDellPuzzles.com and be sure to tell them you heard about it on the Puzzle Detective. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the Puzzle Detective. Today we're working on a puzzle called Place Your Number. And we've already placed several numbers. We've placed 5 of them as a matter of fact, and we've crossed them off as we continue trying to place all of the numbers from 1 through 16 into the grid. Well, when we left off, we already determined that with clue number 1, within each square, the north number is 3 times the south number. In section D, we already have our south number. Very simply then, we know that the north number is 3 times the south number, and 3 times 4, we can now place 12 into that location and cross 12 off from our puzzle, from our list of numbers. Let's see where we can go from here. Let's go back to some of our analysis that we did a little bit earlier. We've already established for section C the north and south numbers. We can now get rid of this here. But what about section A? From our previous clues and from the previous work that we did, we know that these first 3 combinations cannot work, leaving us with the combination of 4, 12 or 5, 15 in section A. But as we look at our used numbers list, we see that 12 was already placed at D north. That eliminates this possible combination for section A. The numbers for section A, north and south, then can only be 5 in the south location and 15 in the north location. We can then eliminate 5 and 15 from our number list. What else do we know about section A? The total of all numbers in square A are 45. How much have we used so far? 5 and 15 obviously is 20. If we take 45 minus 20, it leaves us 25. We have to find a combination of numbers now for east and west that are going to add up to 25. That's the maximum number. And not only is it the maximum number, it's the only number combination of numbers that we can use. If we were to use 1, we would have to use 24 in order to make 25. Well, 24 doesn't exist. So we can certainly eliminate 1. We'd have to go 3 or 3 plus 22. How about 7 and 18? That's still too big. How about 9 and 16? Well, 16 has already been used. We do have 10 and 15. That would add up to 25. But 15 has already been used. How about 11 and 14? As it turns out, 11 and 14 is the only remaining combination that we have that's going to satisfy clue number 2, getting this to add up to a total of 45. That means that west is either 11 and 14 or east is 11 and 14. And we're not quite sure which one is which yet. However, this is where a big leap comes in. Let's go back down to clue 6. The east numbers are consecutive. It doesn't necessarily tell us what order they're in, but we do know that they are consecutive numbers. If we look at 8, consecutive numbers from 8 would have to include 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's not a possibility because 5 and 6 have already been used. The only possibilities are either we're using 7, 8, 9, and 10, that 4-digit or 4-number run, or we're going to use 8 to 11. Does that make any sense? It should, because as we look back up here, 11 falls within that range. 14 does not. We cannot connect 8 to 14 using only 4 numbers. We now know that A East is 11, leaving 14 for A West. Now we also know that we've used 11 and 14, that the remaining East numbers are either 9 or 10. Let's put 9 or 10, 9 or 10. What is the next clue that's going to get us to that answer? Well, if we go back to clue 4, all of the numbers in square C are even. 9 obviously is not even, but 10 is. That'll bring us to the answer of 10. Gives us the answer of 9. Let's eliminate those from our used number list. That only leaves us with three numbers that we can possibly use. We actually have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 possible places and 4 numbers left, so we're in pretty good shape at this point. Let's take another look at our clues. We still need a north-south combination for B, where 1 is 3 times the other. 1 and 3 is still available. 2 and 6 is not available. 3 and 9 is not available. 4 and 12 is not available. 5 and 15 is not available. 1 and 3 is the only combination of one number being 3 times the other that's available for north and south here. Let's go ahead and put 1 and 3 into those squares. Eliminating those, now we only have 7 and 13 left. The total number, let's go back to clue number 3. The total number of all of the numbers in square B is 19. We have 3, 8, and 1. They add up to 12. 12 from 19 leaves us with 7. We cross off 7. The final remaining number is 13 at D West. Well, that took a little logic, but it's just a little leap of logic. And we've solved the Place Your Number puzzle. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more of the Puzzle Detective right after this.
Every chess situation is a puzzle waiting to be solved. Here is today's Puzzle Detective chess puzzle. White to move, mate in 1. Do you see it? I'll reveal the answer when we come back. The Puzzle Detective phenomenon has just begun. Every week, a new and challenging puzzle that you get to solve right along with the Puzzle Detective. Be sure to check out the Puzzle Detective website. There you can learn more about the show, leave your comments and suggestions, and download the free puzzle PDF files for this and upcoming shows. Are you a Roanoke area business that would like to support this locally produced program while reaching a smart and loyal audience? Advertising rates for the Puzzle Detective are affordable, with a package to fit your business's needs and budget. Inquire on the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com. Stay tuned. The Puzzle Detective continues in just a moment. The Puzzle Detective is on Facebook. Like us at facebook.com/The Puzzle Detective. Are you a student or educator and would like the Puzzle Detective to come to your school? Or are you a corporate workshop planner looking for a new idea for a team building activity? If so, the Puzzle Detective would love to hear from you. Drop a comment at the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com. There's a reason the Puzzle Detective uses puzzles exclusively from PennyDellPuzzles.com. Simply put, They're the finest puzzles with the widest variety. Visit our friends at PennydalePuzzles.com and be sure to tell them you heard about it on The Puzzle Detective. And now, back to the show. Did you find it? Knight to G7. The knight places the king in check. No black pieces can capture the white knight. And the king cannot escape as the 7th rank is controlled by the white rook. Checkmate.
And now another game from the Puzzle Detective's Most Wanted Puzzles and Games Gallery. Back in the 1960s and 70s, during the heyday of game shows, this was one of the most popular. NBC broadcast Concentration, and almost all of the game shows had play-at-home versions. Concentration was maybe the most popular, as it was first introduced in 1958 as a home version and continued to produce one per year for over 30 years. The basics of the game are simple. You pick numbers 1 through 30. Behind each number is a hidden prize. If you match the prizes, those prizes go to your side of the board, and then those pieces come off the puzzle slowly to reveal a hidden rebus. And then the game came with a roller full of rebuses. And if you know how to read a rebus, for example, this one says Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island. Fantasy Island. So hours of fun, and by the time you run out of puzzles, it's time for the next edition. Do you have a vintage game from your past that you'd like the Puzzle Detective to know about? Drop me a note on my website. Also, on the website you can find the full gallery of Puzzle Detective's Most Wanted Games and Puzzles. I hope that you enjoyed working through today's puzzle. As I've mentioned before, sometimes the puzzles are more difficult, sometimes a bit easier, but you can always use your logic to work your way through. And if today's puzzle didn't meet your needs, maybe the next one will. I hope that you'll leave me a comment or question if you like at our website, thepuzzledetective.com. And until next time, keep your pencil sharp and your minds sharper.
The Puzzle Detective phenomenon has just begun. Every week, a new and challenging puzzle that you get to solve right along with the Puzzle Detective. Be sure to check out the Puzzle Detective website. There you can learn more about the show, leave your comments and suggestions, and download the free puzzle PDF files for this and upcoming shows. Are you a Roanoke area business that would like to support this locally produced program while reaching a smart and loyal audience? Advertising rates for the Puzzle Detective are affordable, with a package to fit your business's needs and budget. Inquire on the Puzzle Detective website or email the show directly by addressing to mail@thepuzzledetective.com.